Reston digs. Welcome to the Wharf. Reston digs. Today we have the live version, live, work, play, give of Reston digs, and I am honored to have my business partner and close friend Mark Beckett talking to us about the Wharf, which is where Mark lives with his beautiful bride Shelby.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Wharf.
Yeah, man.
Good to have you.
This is awesome. This is amazing.
Not bad. We've enjoyed it. We've been here since 2010.
Feels like a little retreat, little oasis.
It's different. So the Wharf cluster is 55 townhomes in two different clusters, roughly 50-50, that all back to our two ponds, and that's really the big thing here. It's unique as far as I have seen in all of the Mid-Atlantic, not even just Northern Virginia or Reston, with 100% of the houses backing immediately to water. All of the houses back to one of our two man-made freshwater ponds.
That's cool.
So,
and if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're in charge of those ponds, right? You're the president of the HOA? For
better or worse, I am also the president of our cluster, and have been for a number of years.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's part of being in a 55 unit community. Everybody pretty well knows one another. It's small enough that we all kind of pitch in to do what needs doing to kind of run the place. But it is definitely a fairly small and very unique cluster with the water orientation. And that's kind of our big ticket thing here. You'll see that there are no true yards in the back of these townhomes. Every single house backs immediately, has a deck, and right off the deck is one of the two ponds. They were built in the late 80s. So our kind of official company line is we don't allow swimming in the ponds, but we don't prohibit it either. They're not managed. There's no kind of oversight of them. They are technically decorative ponds, but also theoretically, on a nice warm day in a floaty lounge chair with a nice beverage, I'll bet it's pretty nice to hang out on those ponds. But yeah, the big deal is that every room just about of the house has immediate views to the water because it's 10, 12 feet off the back of the house. So that also means if you're not into lawn maintenance, there's no grass to mow here. You've got landscape areas kind of in the front, and then your deck and maybe some planter boxes and things in the back, and then it's water. I don't own a lawnmower. I don't own a weed whacker. We've got common area grass, and we've got other things in the common areas. We've got a stream and a waterfall and some kind of bridges and walkways and some nice common areas that are maintained by the cluster. But one of the best things about this neighborhood that I like is there's very little exterior maintenance for me as the homeowner to do. The other thing you'll notice about these houses is they're all the same color. We've got the Wharf blue, kind of this blue-gray. So you really need to like blue if you're going to be here. But the cluster actually maintains even that staining of the outside. We do it with we do it with a special assessment outside of the normal dues. But it only happens every 5 or 6 years, and we put it in all the disclosure documents, give everybody months and months of notice so that they can save up for it. And it's something that anyone with wood-sided houses ought to be doing every few years anyway. You got to do it anyway, but we manage it for you as the cluster. So the individual unit owners pay for it, but the cluster manages getting the job done. So with that, all you have to do as an owner is just maintain the usual stuff. Your outside regular maintenance things, but no yard and no climbing up on the house to paint it.
I noticed that some of them, maybe all of them, have garages, some have carports.
Yeah, so the basic kind of layout of the cluster of the community is of those 55 houses, roughly 50-50 on what we call the east side and the west side. There's an east pond and a west pond, roughly about the same size. They were built in the mid to late 80s, and
is there
most
like
of them.
a rivalry between the east and the west?
There's definitely some differences. There are actually some architectural differences.
Okay.
I don't think there's. Well, I would like there to be kind of fun rivalry. Maybe we have some sailboat races or something out on the water. But the big differences are in the architecture. There were two different builders building over the course of a few years in the late 80s and early 90s. So architecturally, they all just about have garages. There are a few that don't, but most of them do. They all, again, back to the water. And on the west side, those houses were built earlier. And they have what I would call kind of a contemporary with cabin type influences. So they've got a lot of natural wood, some exposed beams, open ceilings, a little more rustic interior architecture. And the other kind of big difference on that side is some of the units have first floor master bedrooms, different for a townhouse. And the ones that do have garages, nearly all of those garages have second story loft space above the garage that's fully finished. So you'll have bedrooms or game rooms or family rooms or offices in those lofts over the garages, and those loft spaces are usually connected to the house with a catwalk. So it's really nice. In a lot of cases, it's a whole nother bedroom and bath in some of those loft spaces that you get in those. Otherwise, the inside of the houses are mostly 3-bed, 2.5 bath, with some exceptions. We've got a few different model types, some bigger, some smaller, but most of them 3-2s. So on the west side, kind of your different architecture bit is that kind of cabiny look and the lofts over the garages. Over here on this east side, I would say these are kind of contemporary with a modern influence, right? So we've got bigger windows, arched windows. These units get a lot of light. And on the inside, a couple of different model types, but two predominant models. One of them has really open staircases that go all the way 3 or 4 levels, all the way to the top, with a real kind of almost gallery kind of feel to them. They have skylights. They're really, really pretty with those stairways. And then the other pretty common house type has what I'd call like a split level. So the houses are kind of split front to back with half levels separated by a half set of stairs. And with those, kind of the big feature is the top floor is a master bedroom, which is really half of the townhouse. So you get a big master bedroom for a townhouse facing the water. They all have multiple decks, balconies off of the master bedrooms, large decks off of the living room or family room areas. And so kind of the east side is that slightly more contemporary bit, and the west side is kind of more of the rustic bit.
Let's talk a little bit about the area, right? So you're in 20191 here in Reston. There's 3 zip codes, right? 20191 is the south side of Reston.
Yep.
Where do you shop? What plaza do you guys go to?
Yeah, so here in this part of South Reston, south of the toll road, we're off of Glade Drive. So we're closest to the South Lakes Shopping Center, which is about half a mile up the road. We're right around the corner from Lake Audubon, which is one of Reston's large recreational lakes, and we're about a half a mile from the Reston Nature Center, right off of Glade Drive.
Okay, what about pool?
There's a pool there right at the lake at Lake Audubon, and another one down Glade Drive. We're kind of midway between the two of them.
Glade's got like a big tube for the kids.
There's like a cool water slide kind of deal, at the other one.
Kids hang out.
Yep, and then the one over here at Lake Audubon is really big for swim meets. So every Saturday in the summer, you'll see just hundreds of people doing swim meets over there at Lake Audubon, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. That's awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. So you do all your shopping in South Lakes, which, you know, it's got Chipotle, it's got Starbucks, it's got Red's Table. There's a
cool
lot.
small restaurants, Cafe Sano, Red's Table. Yeah, we got the Safeway. Here on the south side is where they're building the Wegmans closer to Reston Parkway, so that'll be coming pretty soon.
It's amazing.
There's a lot going on in all parts of Reston.
Yeah.
The south side used to be kind of the quieter side. Most of the development was happening north of the toll road, but now a lot's starting to happen over here on the south side. We have a lot of development off of Sunrise Valley.
Let me ask you, what's your favorite place? Not only favorite place, but favorite thing about living at the Wharf?
So clearly it's the water, right? You've got water views directly out of most of the rooms. On this east side,
hang out the most?
we spend a lot of time out here, as you'd imagine, right? We've got our fountains going. Again, these ponds are well fed, so they're not like drainage ponds. They're not like creek fed ponds. They are fed from wells, and they're all lined with clay. So they all maintain the same water level all year long.
Okay.
So that is kind of our big amenity. So yeah, we spend a lot of time outside here.
Indoor-outdoor area is just so convenient, right? You've got the kitchen, little family room down there. You've got this amazing deck. You've got the water. First thing that the photographer said to me was, "I want to live here." Right? It's a cool spot.
It's not a bad way to spend a day. Like I said, most all of the houses have a balcony off the master bedroom on the water. Great place to come and have your coffee in the morning. And then we tend to hang out back here on the water most of the rest of the time.
Let me ask you, if somebody who's watching this that's from outside of Reston, right, which is really what we want to do is educate people that are thinking about moving into Reston. What about commuting-wise, like access to the toll road, access to 66, things like that?
So Reston in general is obviously a highly commutable area. We kind of started off as a bedroom community. Well, we started in the 1960s when this whole live, work, play planned community was developed. It was almost the middle of nowhere, right? We're halfway to the airport, and Dulles Airport was really the middle of nowhere. But over the years, development has obviously come out west towards Reston, and Reston is now a major community on its own. And there are any number of kind of ways to get around. We've now got our metro stop. Metro is expanding. We'll be going all the way out to the airport, and then obviously all the way into DC with plenty of stops in between. So no part of Reston is probably more than 10 or 15 minutes now from the metro. We're about 5 minutes from it here. Obviously close to the toll road to commute in.
This particular location is really close to the toll road.
Yep.
Really close to the metro.
Yep.
Right? So it's uniquely positioned within Reston.
Right.
It's just really, really easy access.
Yep, we're 10 minutes from Vienna, 10 minutes from Tyson's, 5 minutes from major roads and the Beltway to be able to get around. And still far enough out that it's not like being inside the Beltway. One of the reasons I like Reston as opposed to other parts of Virginia or the DC metro area is it's a little bit quieter and it's a lot greener. As you know, in Reston, and especially here on the south side, next to no streetlights, right? So at nighttime it gets dark, and we have trees everywhere. And obviously Reston is big for its paths and trails through all of those trees and kind of forested areas, and that's really unique. You don't get that a lot in other areas in around Northern Virginia, so we're unique for that.
Is there anything that I haven't asked you about the Wharf in particular that you think people should know about? Do you think we covered it?
I would say that the big thing is that water access and lack of the exterior yard that you typically see, for better or worse.
Yeah, so this is a great place for somebody that doesn't want to do a lot of yard work.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Ding ding.
Yep.
Although we just bought a place that's got a lot of yard.
Yep.
But anyhow, somebody that does want to do a lot of yard work and a lot of exterior painting,
Right.
because this is all covered by HOA dues or
Right.
the assessment, the special assessment that happens every 5 years.
And so we have people that have pets, but you're going to be walking them, which you probably ought to do anyway. But it's not like you've got a big yard for kids or animals to run around in. You've got your deck, and then you've got water, right? So that's the compromise bit of it. But if that lifestyle is appealing and is for you, it is really unique to have houses this size with garages, with the amenities that you have, with the particular amenity of the water. It's unique, certainly to this area, if not to within the Mid-Atlantic area. It's relatively rare.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mr. Beckett. I appreciate
Absolutely.
your time.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. It's great to have you.
Reston Digs. Hey, hope you enjoyed this episode of Live here at the Wharf. If you're interested in learning more about it, hit us up. We're happy to share more information. Take care.